Good afternoon. Welcome to Jim Munley's World of Weather. Clicked on to long-range weather forecast discussion for January 5th to the 17th. The pattern remains unchanged during this period. We have a... Hold on, I'm having trouble with the models. Okay, this is what we're forecasting. We have a ridge over western North America and a trough over the east. Miles of good agreement with this. We're going to go through the days, and we're going to come to the 9th. We see a little change. Still forecasting a ridge here in the west, trough in the east. And then we look at the rest of the models, which I seem to have lost some of them. But the models are in good agreement on this. A reinforcing shot of Arctic air will continue across much of the eastern U.S., keeping temperatures about 10 to 20 degrees below normal. Now we're going to look at the system that's developing north of the Bahamas. A low is forecast to develop. You can see it. Wait a minute. We're going to go to the 3rd tomorrow. Let me see if I can get to the models. Okay, here we are at the 3rd. System be organizing here. This is the GFS. And then watch how it tracks up. And generally, pretty much missing much of the eastern seaboard. Now we're going to look at the Canadian, no, the European. Let me see, our European. And that also brings it up along, and missing most of the East Coast storms, bringing snow to New England. But with cold air locked in place, it allows potential for significant winter precipitation spread along the East Coast from Florida to Maine. The system has a potential to produce 1/4 of an inch of ice, and a couple inches of snow with local higher amounts are possible from portions of Florida Panhandle to eastern North Carolina tonight and tomorrow. By Wednesday, the heavy snow will begin to develop along the mid-Atlantic coast into the northeast, and the tight pressure gradient between the deep system lifting through the Canadian Maritimes and the east central states and high pressure will keep strong winds across New England with blowing snow and some areas of dangerous cold wind chills. Now, another thing we're going to look at is the ensemble mean for the sea level pressure. Okay, here's our, oops, I thought I just saw it. Okay, here's our low pressure system. They're starting to cluster here. They're in fairly good agreement. Some of them bring it out here, developing farther out. And then we go to later in the day. See, they're pretty much in cluster and good agreement. This is Thursday, and then we get into Friday. And then the storm lifts out. So this can still change. It's just a difference of 50 to 100 miles. That is fairly nothing to the atmosphere. And it could be significant snows across parts of New England, parts of the Mid-Atlantic. But it'll probably be mostly along the coast and New England. Elsewhere, a trough near the west coast is forecast to bring precipitation to Northern California and the Northwest. Precipitation is forecast to spread eastward in time. That'll be spreading into the Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and into the East Coast. Behind the system, there'll be a brief warm-up, and then behind the system, temperatures will cool down again to below normal, and the West will experience near to above normal temperatures during the period. Go look now at the period for January 8th to the 12th. Yeah, excuse me, I'm missing a lot of my models now. So, really just have the NAEFS and the European weeklies, but the models are generally indicating the pattern to slowly de-amplify here. So you see the trough starting to flatten and lift out. And we will have generally a flatter flow, but still a ridge here in the west and a weak trough across the northeast. So for this forecast period, I'm forecasting above normal temperatures here. Forecast anomalies at 6 to 10 degrees above normal or more. Below normal temperatures, a forecast for the northern Rockies, northern plains, upper Mississippi Valley, east of the Mississippi River. Forecast anomalies be about 6 degrees below normal. And for precipitation, calling for above normal precipitation for this area here. This would be good news for California. And forecasting probability of occurrence will be 35 to 55%. I'll look at the period for January 13th to the 17th. A ridge is forecast over Alaska. You can see right here, a ridge. We have a trough here across the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and so forth. And then we go to the 17th. And you see some of the models, like this is GFS, has above normal heights across the eastern U.S. And then now, this is the NAEFS, but still a little bit of a weak trough here. I think we're going to have a weak trough here extending across Great Lakes into the plains. So for this forecast period, I am forecasting above normal temperatures here. We're going to have a ridge here building across the northwest. And forecast anomalies to be about 4 degrees above normal. Below normal temperatures are forecast for this region here. Forecast anomalies to be about 4 degrees below normal. And for precipitation, forecasting still above normal precipitation for this region and for here. Probability for both regions will be 30 to 55%. So that's a long-range weather forecast discussion for January 5th to 17th. Thanks for coming to Jim Munley's World of Weather, and have a good day.